Council and staff for the opportunity to speak this evening, and thanks for keeping the agenda around a little bit for me. My purpose this evening is to provide a brief introduction to Transition Cornwall Plus and to talk a little bit about how we can collaborate with you in building a resilient and sustainable community. Transition Cornwall is really just a group of citizens who believe that, first of all, the era of cheap oil is coming to an end, and two, that climate change will have more and more of an effect on our lives, and three, that we have a window of opportunity to be proactive instead of reactive to the economic and social impacts that these issues will have on our community. The aims of the group are to primarily act as a catalyst, to work with people, groups, and organizations that are already active with these issues, and not to replace or duplicate any of those initiatives. Two is to raise awareness about the upcoming challenges, peak oil, climate change, and the associated economic challenges that will result. And three, be really engaged in a community process that will systematically reduce our dependence on fossil fuels in the Cornwall area. So in essence, we're kind of the opposite of a special interest group. We are in this for the community as a whole, and those subjects touch on many, many aspects of our lives. And we believe that this has the potential to create some new investment, to help address some of the budget challenges that you face as a council, and to prepare for a sustainable future. And by the way, one of our aims is also to have fun in the process. And I must say, speaking to you tonight as a council, that we've noted that you're already engaged in this process, taking steps to create a more resilient community, because we see that in your strategic priorities. You're building energy efficiency into the new public buildings that you're building, and you're building infrastructure for better access for pedestrians and cyclists. And you're involved in the walkable communities efforts that are put on by the health unit. You're tackling waste diversion issues. You're even encouraging downtown housing that I noticed, because that means people can live and shop close to where they work, and that means for a more that creates a more lively downtown area, and it means, of course, fewer cars. And when I mention to friends outside the community that we're engaged in transition initiative, they say, "Wow, this is a very progressive community." So, what is Cornwall? What has Transition Cornwall Plus been doing? Well, we've been around for about a year and a half. We have a core group of about 12 people, and we've been focusing mostly on building awareness, because, as you know, change comes slowly, and we're moving into areas that make people sometimes feel uncomfortable. We've developed a working relationship with partners like the Public Library, the Community Museum, the Eastern Ontario Training Board, and a group called All Things Food. We've delivered several movie series in both French and English on these subjects. We've also made presentations to community groups that you're familiar with, like Municipal Environmental Action Committee, the River Institute, schools, and the college, and so on. We've also held some reskilling workshops to help people in cooking and gardening, and they seem like fairly everyday subjects, but they're important when we're trying to relocalize food. And our members have taken some training in the transition initiative from groups around the province, and with the help of the Eastern Ontario Training Board. Some of you saw the movie Powerful the other night, and we had about 70 people who attended that event, and I think it was quite successful. We have another speaker coming later in the month. Unfortunately, it falls on a council night, but we'll keep you up to date on how that goes. That fellow is Mike Nickerson, who's been working in in this area for probably 30 years, making sure that businesses remain sustainable as well as profitable. So what would we like from you? We would like Council to pass a resolution allowing city staff to collaborate with Transition Cornwall Plus wherever possible. Because for us, it's the opposite of sort of sitting in our armchairs or coffee shops complaining about what's wrong. It's instead it's sort of getting up and doing something locally and constructive about what's coming. And people tell us they feel a lot more empowered by being involved in local transition initiatives because they don't feel as helpless in the face of these global trends. So if they can be involved in projects and initiatives locally, they feel like they're not so powerless. So what are the advantages to you as a council? I think first we can share our experiences from these transition groups in Canada and around the world. There are over 1,000 now, and it's growing very, very quickly. We can help to raise awareness about these issues in the community. And probably most importantly, we can provide some of the political cover that you need when you introduce efforts like sidewalks and bicycle paths and some of the other issues that can sometimes be controversial, because we can be there to talk about the benefits that have accrued to other communities around the province. Communities of the same size as Cornwall, for sure. And finally, by developing a relationship with you as elected officials, we can kind of make sure we're staying in sync with what council wants and with what the citizens want to work towards. So, in conclusion, I encourage you to talk to mayors and chambers of commerce presidents in places like Perth and Guelph and Peterborough, because they're engaged in this process. And there are a lot of exciting trends that are happening around the province and across Canada. I've provided you with some background information. Please take a bit of time to read through that and look at some of the links. There's lots of interesting stuff going on. I'm happy to answer any questions, but we're certainly willing to make follow-up presentations to you as a council or to any of your committees if you wish.
Thank you very much.